Well, the second episode has come around for Gotham, and I know this is not going to sound exactly thought-provoking, but as I had time to mentally digest the first episode of Gotham over the past week, I was thinking, I want to see the next episode. I want to see where they go from here, because really the first episode was kind of hampered by the requirement to introduce the world, introduce the characters, kind of retread familiar territory. Not just with Bruce Wayne's parents getting murdered. I mean, we've seen that many times before, but also with kind of introducing all of the future Batman villains, and not even the supervillains, just the Batman characters. You know, Gordon, Bullock, the corrupt police department, Falcone, which I'm kind of confused. Here he's called Falcone, but in Batman Begins they call him Falcone. But here it seems like the show is gradually starting to get more of an identity. And like I said, I was impressed with the first episode and how much I enjoyed it. And I actually think this one's a little better. I think there is noticeably more confidence this time around. Did it still have problems? Yeah, but again, it's still persuading me to stick with it. I'm still willing to buy into the style. I'm still willing to buy into this idea if this is going to be their execution. Or maybe it'll be like maybe they will improve. Maybe they'll be like many other shows and kind of improve as they go, because a lot of the time the first season is just kind of trial and error. Even the best of shows have a little bit of trial and error, I think. So basically, the plot of this episode of Gotham is that there have been a series of abductions of street children in Gotham, and no one really knows what's going on. So Gordon and Bullock are put on the case, and one of the children who is put in peril is young Selina Kyle, who, as fans will know, eventually becomes Catwoman. She was in the first episode, but she didn't speak, and, well, she barely spoke, and she didn't get anything to do. Here, this episode, it's even called Selina Kyle, which I think is a bit of a misrepresentation, but I digress. The point is, we get to see more of her this episode. We finally get to see Cameron Bikendova. I hope that's how you say her name, Bikendova. We finally get to see her take on the character, see if this whole teenage Selina Kyle is going to work any better than the young Bruce Wayne, who still doesn't. Let's just say his acting has not exactly improved. He's still not very good. I'm sorry if I'm alienating anyone by saying that, and I'm sorry that I'm kind of picking on a kid, but I'm sorry. I just don't think he's a very good actor. Cameron Bikendova, on the other hand, she's good. I mean, that's not exactly in depth, but she definitely exudes a surprising amount of confidence in the role. She seems pretty at home physically with the stunts that she's having to do. I don't exactly know how much of her own stunts that she's doing, but when she's doing a bunch of the athletic stuff and the climbing and the jumping and the cat-like poses, she seems fairly at home. They seem very natural to her, which I believe, now correct me on this, I believe that I was reading an interview for Comic-Con, and I think they said that she was a dancer or something. Either a dancer or a gymnast or something. I mean, she has an athletic background, hence why she's so at home with these stunts. And, you know, even her performance is fairly charismatic. She doesn't really seem to be hampered by necessarily trying to imitate any past Catwomen. Rather, she seems to be taking inspiration from past Catwomen. I can't really pinpoint, or at least not right off the top of my head, not while I was watching it, I can't really pinpoint which Catwoman she is trying to do consistently. I can't figure out if she's trying to do Michelle Pfeiffer, Julie Newmar, Eartha Kitt, God forbid, or Anne Hathaway. I can't figure out which one it is. But yeah, she does a good job. I'm fairly impressed, and I hope to see more of her in the show. Now, the actual story of this one, like I said, I think it it had a little bit of an advantage over the pilot episode, which again was kind of hampered by the introductory stage. Here, they can actually tell more of an episodic story arc, while at the same time kind of developing some seasonal arcs. It's not really a seasonal arc in the sense that Arrow might have a seasonal arc, with the Mirakuru and the Deathstroke of season 2. With this, the arcs might be, Penguin coming into power. In fact, that seems like a very prevalent arc. And, Gordon really coming to terms with how corrupt the police department is. Really, really struggling. So, on that note, I thought this episode worked very well, while at the same time giving us a fairly cool self-contained story. It actually had some unexpected guest stars. I did not expect to see Lily Taylor in this episode as one of the minions of the Dollmaker, which, nice reference. We haven't seen the Dollmaker yet, so that actually has piqued my curiosity. But getting back to Lily Taylor, last time I saw her, she was in The Conjuring, and here she's playing, she's kind of like, I believe the character is Annie Wilkes, the Kathy Bates character from Stephen King's Misery, I believe it was. The sweet lady who's really this sadist or this psycho. She's kind of like that. She does a pretty good job, as do the male accomplices, but they're just not as memorable as her. And yeah, the acting is still pretty solid. The more I see of Ben McKenzie's Gordon, the more I like him. He still has really good chemistry with Donald Logue as Bullock. They really seem to. I like the repertoire between them. It's not really like any repertoire I've seen on TV before, or at least not that I can remember. Still kind of warming up to Jada Pinkett Smith as Fish Mooney. I think that's actually one of the less interesting storylines. I am still interested to see what will happen with her and the organized crime in Gotham as a whole, especially with Falcone reportedly having to fight to maintain his status as number one from guys like Maroney and now Fish Mooney. He's basically having to assert his dominance as the biggest crime boss in Gotham, and I'm interested to see where the Penguin will fit into that. Because obviously he's not taking Gordon's advice, which, by the way, Robin Lord Taylor, I believe that's the guy who plays the Penguin. He actually does a really good job. He's pretty creepy in this episode. You can definitely see traces of the high society Penguin, or a Penguin who wants to be high society. He wants to be on top, but he's just not physically imposing. When he kidnaps some guy on the road and calls his mom with a ransom demand, his mom just doesn't believe him. So he's like, well, that's unfortunate. So yeah, overall, this episode I thought was pretty well paced. I thought it was reasonably well told. I was interested to see where it all went. I thought it was an interesting move on the mayor's part to use the whole Dollmaker and child abduction plot to fund this, or to basically spearhead support for this program that basically puts all street kids in juvenile facilities, basically locks them up without a trial. That's basically what it amounts to. So whether or not that will come back, whether or not that will play into Falcone's idea of organized crime, I'm not really sure. I think this review has gone on a little long-winded already. Yeah, overall, the more I see of Gotham, the more interested I get. Because, like I said, it still has a strong sense of style. The acting is still great. The cinematography is still has you hooked. And, like I said, if it keeps going like this, if it keeps building its own narrative identity, I don't really think I will feel the need to compare it to Batman as much. Because really a large part of what I didn't like about the first episode is, this is going to be this villain, this is going to be that villain. I hope the show develops its own identity, because I really get the sense that there is a lot of talent behind it. And given how we've already seen a version of the Dollmaker on Arrow, I'm interested to see what the Dollmaker will be like on this darker show. So yeah, like I said, this actually has me more hopeful than I was at the end of the first episode, because I like the character of Selina Kyle. She seems like a pretty fun character. And yeah, like I hopefully, like always, I'm interested to see where it goes.